It's 6 a.m. on the island of Manhattan. In the dawn's early light, you can imagine the first ship in the old world sailing slowly up the biggest river they had ever seen. That was almost how you felt the first time you saw the city from the window of a Greyhound, like you were looking at a new world waiting to be discovered. And that's how it looks to you now. But you have to go slowly. You'll have to learn everything all over again.
Next Saturday at 11:45.
One of the untold stories of the years between the wars, certain members of the British ruling class gave active or passive aid and comfort to the Nazis. Of course, appeasement of Nazi Germany was the official policy of the Conservative government right up until the day war was declared. Perhaps simply for this reason, or perhaps for some other, the British Board of Film Censors sought to be especially fair and even-handed towards the Nazis, and routinely forbade depictions of the jackbooted swine that were in any way unflattering or impolite. In 1934, the Russian anti-Nazi feature Refugees was banned outright by the BBFC. Hitchcock's classic thrillers The 39 Steps and The Lady Vanishes were not allowed to mention the nationality of their Nazi villains. In 1936, the BBFC's principal script examiner, Colonel Hanna, halted production of a World War I spy film with the words, "I think the German embassy should be approached about it." That's rather like approaching Boris Yeltsin for permission to make a film about the Chechen genocide. In 1938, Miss Short, also of the British Board of Film Censors, insisted that the refugees fleeing an unnamed totalitarian state in the exiles must not look like Jews. And when in 1936 the Bolting brothers, two of the finest and most patriotic British filmmakers of the day, approached the board about their intention to make a film based on the persecution of Pastor Martin Niemöller, who had been sent to Dachau for criticizing Hitler from his pulpit, Miss Short did not consider this play suitable for production as a film. Even with the nationality disguised, it is anti-Nazi propaganda. After war broke out, and British soldiers were actually in France fighting the Nazis, the board softened its attitude. The Boltings resubmitted Pastor Hall in 1939 and were allowed to make the film. Minister of Information Duff Cooper said it was a great film, showing the nature of our present struggle. Even then, it appeared saddled with a cumbersome prologue, assuring the viewers that it was based on authentic, verified facts. It was the first time a concentration camp appeared in a dramatic film. So surprising was Pastor Hall to American audiences, who had also been kept largely in the dark about the Nazis' atrocities, that the U.S. version began with a prologue read by Eleanor Roosevelt, wife of the American president, opposing Hitler and his rule. Pastor Hall is a low-budget film. It relies heavily on sets and lacks the technical excellence of, say, Dead of Night. But it's a wonderful film, unfairly neglected in the years after the war. It stars Wilfrid Lawson, who is outstanding as the pastor. Other familiar faces are Sir Seymour Hicks, a very young Marius Goring, and an even younger Bernard Miles. The concentration camp scenes are not particularly realistic, but how could they be? How could the essential 1930s British decency which permeates Pastor Hall conceive of the true horrors of Belsen, Auschwitz, or Treblinka? Perhaps another reason Pastor Hall gave the Board of Censors problems was its theme, individual freedom of speech versus the power of the state. This is also the theme of The Devil, Realm of the Senses, The Trip, and a number of other banned and censored films. Watch out also for the sympathetic treatment of abortion. It's recommended by a kindly doctor for a young girl who's been raped by a Nazi. Unfortunately, abortion is a crime against the state wanting soldiers for the next war. I wonder if any modern British movie would be as forthright on the subject. Certainly no American film would dare.